Welcome to Draw the Stuff with Roger. I'm Roger, and today we're going to be drawing from the book Nana's Crazy Cats, available on Amazon. Now, the tools we're going to use are pretty simple. You can find these pencils and pens at most dollar stores. This is just a studio pen, just a black pen, and then I have a Sharpie pen here as well. I enjoy the Sharpie pens. Um, Sometimes I get ink all over my hand. You can see I got something on my finger there. It just happens. This is just a mechanical pencil from the dollar store and an eraser. Doesn't matter which one you got. I enjoy the white ones um, just for fun. So today we're going to do some basic shapes. So some circles, some squares, some rectangles, and some ovals. And we're going to show you how to turn those into some cats, because I found doing the book, this was the easiest way to kind of get started. And this is the best way to make an angry cat. Oh, if you want to make an angry cat, this is what you do. That flat-eared look, and you just put in the eyeballs. And I always leave a little space. If I'm doing black eyes, I leave a little white space somewhere in there. You can convey a lot of emotion through the eyes. So just make sure you kind of pay attention to that. And sometimes you're going to have to do them over and over again. And that's okay. Repetition is, I find, what makes art for me. I will do something over and over again until I find what I'm looking for. So here I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking the circle, putting some little triangles on the top, triangles inside the triangles, and another upside down triangle, couple circles. But this time I cut the circles in half, and I kind of makes it give you that happy look. I enjoy this kind of animated look. It's kind of a cheery, chubby cheek kind of look. But you can easily take that and change it. Oh yeah, here's the big eyes. I enjoy big eyes sometimes because it just kind of, again, you're conveying some emotion through there. And the bigger the eyes, the more kind of excitedly happy the character can be. Or sometimes if you're trying to convey fear or shock, it's the same kind of idea. You want those big eyes to jump out at you. And if you want that same character to, have a different kind of look to convey emotion, then you can do that. And sometimes you can do that with the way the eyes are looking. And sometimes you can do that with just even the eyebrows. So you see how we take this simple circle, and over again we're making these different emotions. The top, the straight line on the top of the eyes, and you get the kind of little angry look, like, ooh yeah, this kitty means business. Or he's fixing to, knock something off the table, as cats really enjoy to do. I have one cat that is in the book on a lot of pages because he is the cat that gets into trouble. Swimming in the toilet or knocking things off the counter is just his cup of tea. So here we're going to go up to the square. So I showed you all the different kind of ideas for the circle. And as you go on, you won't need the shapes so much. The shapes are kind of just to get you started, right? But you can see how I'm just adding a few things here. And if you want to make a bunny as well, or a dog, they're all pretty close to the same idea. Small changes can make a big, big difference. So that could be a bunny right there, but if you kind of make it a little bit wider and put some whiskers, then it all of a sudden turns into a cat. So here, when I want to make it look one way, I do one eye small and one eye big. And the small eye is the eye farther away. And you can see the one ear is behind and the other ear is connected. And then I'll do like a little cha-cha right there and down, and a little cha-cha on the other side and down. And this kind of gives you that look of the cat's look in one direction. A lot of the animations you see on TV, they have a look straight ahead and they have a look to the side. And this like 45-degree kind of thing is where a lot of the animation takes place. So a lot of the characters talk to each other. They're not looking directly sideways. They're looking on this kind of 45 angle. And once you get a little better at it, you can loosen it up a little bit. So you see how I'm doing it. And the square is just kind of a guide now. The square was just kind of the thing I used to get from a really solid looking bunny cat almost to a cat. And now this is one of my favorite shapes to do. If you're doing like a surprised cat or a cat that is just, there's some kind of something about a cat with a really long face that I just enjoy. I don't know whether it was a cartoon I saw as a kid or whether it was some kind of sculpture I saw. I'm not quite sure where that idea came from, but I really do enjoy it. A little bit of scruff on the bottom, and away you go. And that is so simple. And you can bring these kind of characters to life by erasing some of the lines there and kind of give it a light erase. Not too heavy, but just a light erase so you can see where all the lines are. And then you take your black or whatever dark color you have. A blue pen would work fine as well. And then you kind of go over the lines that you can just faintly see there. And this makes the pictures just kind of pop off the page. Now, you can do this if you have pencil crayons with, let's say, a really dark orange or a brown, and then fill in orange. You'd like to keep it a couple of shades darker than what the picture is. Now, we're talking about cats. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog snoring in the background. She insists on being a part of almost everything I do, so we are kind of stuck with that snore for now. So again, I'll go over it and I'll erase the whole thing now with the eraser, and then you can't see the pencil lines, and it just kind of gives it that a really nice polished look. Now here's the silly one. Here's the one that you can make cats look pretty silly. You give them that kind of like chubby cheek kind of look. The what was that movie they had with the panda? This is kind of that kind of rounded face. When they had the red panda, it took place in Toronto. I can't think of the name right now, but you could easily transfer this into a panda or a dog, like a pug. Looks a lot like this. A cat, if you give it a really long neck, it can be a really funny looking giraffe if you'd like. But for our purposes here, we're going to keep it a cat. And this one, you can see that the life kind of just comes into it as you go. And the more you practice those same shapes, the funnier you can get it, and you can get more life into it. Now here, look at how rough this looks. And I did this on purpose so that I could show you that even your pencil drawing doesn't matter so much. And you can use even super simple, like I put triangles for the eyes, right? The shapes don't matter as much as you're just given the gist of it. And no, it's not supposed to be Baby Yoda. It would be pretty easy to turn into Baby Yoda, but look, he's got the angry eyebrows because he knows you're thinking about Baby Yoda. So I'll go ahead and do the same kind of process with this, but I'll show you how it looks when you don't erase the lines first. So you can kind of go and just kind of go over everything. You can see at the tips of the ears, I make it smoother. That ear's way too big. I know sometimes you notice things afterwards, and that's the okay thing about art, is that you're always learning. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can always learn. And that learning process is you never have to make it a negative process. It can always be a positive. Even if you make something and it looks really bad for the first 20 times you make it, The 21st time might just be the ticket. And that cat, like this one with the really funny looking one ear, that might be something that somebody remembers because they had a cat with a funny looking ear. So you never know. And even if it doesn't look 100% to you, to somebody else that could look amazing. That's the fun thing about art, is that everybody's got a different idea of what the finished thing is supposed to look like. So no matter what it looks like, it's nice to somebody. And hopefully it's nice to you as well. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes I'll spend hours and hours drawing a picture and look at the end result and go, oh my gosh, I hope somebody else like this and enjoys it, because I sure don't. So I'm going into a little more detail here, and I'm just putting some shading in the ears and giving him like a little darker outline on the top, just to give him a little extra, sometimes bold lines and darker lines bring about emotion in your picture and kind of show like that, shows that he's flattening the top of his head or her head out for anger. This character's really trying to be mad, right? That's the look. And sometimes just the way you shade the lines can convey a lot. So this one, I'm going to just have all the lines kind of the same. They're not going to be super thick, but I'm going to give them little tiny teeth popping out the bottom. And the little tiny teeth, I don't know what's so cute about them. I have no clue why it's cute. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it is. I think because we've all seen that cat that had its teeth kind of stuck out of its mouth, and it was usually a pretty relaxed cat. It was not one that was just about to scratch you or bite you. It was usually the pretty relaxed cat. So maybe it gives us those relaxed ideas. Now, my whiskers, oh man. When I was drawing the book, the whiskers was probably the hardest part for me. It sounds really funny, but getting them correct so that they look like they're just whimsical is really tricky. They always kind of look like a stack of whiskers when I do it, not a cluster. It doesn't look free. It looks kind of stuck in one spot. So that was a really tricky one for me, trying to get the idea that they're kind of coming from all directions. And now you can see here that we went from those simple shapes to some pretty good looking cats, right? It's pretty interesting how that process can happen. And the rest of the body is just, more shapes. So get your practice on, start with some simple shapes, and this little cat is going to wave at you. I'm going to be doing some more drawing like this. If you guys want to let me know in the comments what you would like to draw, I can hopefully work up some ideas and we can see what we can do. So I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.